Exposed. According to Scobie's own UK agent, he did in fact send a draft manuscript naming the two royal races to be translated into Dutch, and the palace is not going to stand for this. Hello everyone, welcome back to the King YouTube channel. Okay, so first of all, I know that none of you actually believed Scooby-Doo when he claimed that he never sent any manuscript with the names of the two royal races in it. This was obviously just an attempt for him to weasel his way out of trouble because he didn't want to face any consequences for his decision to name these two people. And now, according to the Mail Online, Scobie's UK agent did send draft manuscript naming two royal races to be translated into Dutch, exposing Under Fire author's weasel words that he had never submitted a book that had those names in it, as Palace mulls legal action. Things sure are not looking good for that smarmy twit right now. Okay, so before the book was even published, Scooby-Doo was trying to get his name in the news, claiming that he knew the names of these two mysterious royal races Meghan had talked about in the Oprah Winfrey interview, but he wasn't going to reveal the names because he was worried he might be breaking a law if he did so. Well, the book came out, and of course, it was filled with other lies. And then, all of a sudden, we heard that the Dutch translation of the book indeed named these mysterious royal races as King Charles and Princess Catherine. Pretty much immediately after the news broke that the Dutch translation did include these two names, they tried to pull all the copies from the shelves, but obviously, once something's out there, it's going to be spread around. For a while, the UK media outlets were refusing to print the names. They were redacting them, but Piers Morgan decided to let the cat out of the bag, and honestly, I'm glad that he did. I agree with Morgan's reasoning that if people in the Netherlands can walk into the shop and pick up a copy of that book and see these names, the citizens of the UK and the Commonwealth also have a right to that information. They have a right to judge for themselves whether it's true or not. Okay, so if you've been under a rock this whole time and don't know anything about it, now you are officially caught up. So according to the Mail Online, a source told the Times United Talent Agency had earlier sent a draft version of the book to the publisher which contained these names. But then, after that, a final proof of the 400-page book was later sent, but the translator actually had been working from an earlier draft. Now, was it intentional or was it not? Honestly, folks, I choose to believe it was 100% intentional. I'm sure Meghan was involved in this. This has her claw prints all over it. This is exactly the kind of thing she likes to pull. She loves to create a big mess and then she walks away acting like she had nothing to do with it. But it sounds like this time she and Scooby may have finally screwed up, because the news has come out that Buckingham Palace is mulling whether to take legal action after King Charles and the Princess of Wales were named as the senior royals who allegedly remarked about Archie's skin color before he was born. Meanwhile, much like Meghan and Harry, Scooby-Doo seems to not understand how to make an apology. Even though he still maintains it was all some big misunderstanding, some mistake, he is refusing to apologize to Charles and Catherine. And that's not going to help his case in the least. According to the Mail Online, the Under Fire author has shrugged off criticism, claiming the names were known for a long time while putting the blame at the Dutch publisher's door, declaring, "I never submitted a book that had those names in it." But see, the Dutch translator blew that claim right out of the water. I mean, she seems like a really good woman. She's just a translator. That's her job. She's not going to get herself involved in this big royal mess. She insisted that the names of Charles and Catherine were indeed in the book. And what reason do we have not to believe her? On the other hand, we have more than enough reasons not to believe Scooby-Doo. So the translator, Saskia Peters, said, "As a translator, I translate what is in front of me. The names of the royals were there in black and white. I did not add them. I just did what I was paid to do, and that was translate the book from English into Dutch." And there was a second translator, too, who told The Sun, "We are professionals, and we've done this for years, both of us. It's unfair." And those women are completely right. It was so wrong of Scooby-Doo to try to throw them under the bus. I mean, not only was it an evil plan to try to mess up those two women's careers, but why did he even think that was going to work? He was probably listening to advice from his master, Meghan Markle. Now, in the beginning, Scooby-Doo tried to blame this whole mess on a translation error, which again makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, translators are not just going to make up a name, pull it out of thin air. They translate what is in front of them. If the name is not there, they're not going to put a name in. That whole story made absolutely no sense. Obviously, Scooby-Doo was desperate, and obviously he's about like Meghan and Harry when it comes to lying. Even though he does a lot of it, he's not very good at it. And boy, has Piers Morgan been having a field day. So he revealed that Charles and Catherine were named in the book during his talk TV show Piers Morgan Uncensored. And he added that he didn't believe these allegations of racist comments. He said, "Because I don't believe any racist comments were ever made by any of the royal family, and until there is actual evidence of those comments being made, I will never believe it." Now, I don't always agree with everything that Piers Morgan does and everything that he says, but when it comes to Meghan and Harry, he's had Meghan's number for a very long time. I do trust him when he does reporting on the two of them, because usually he just tells it like it is, and I really appreciate that. He's also got no time or patience for Scooby-Doo, which I really appreciate because neither do I. So in the middle of this whole whodunit game that's being played right now, Scooby-Doo appeared on the BBC Newsnight program, and he said that he was hurt and frustrated by the week's events. But even so, he refused to apologize. He said, "It's not for me to apologize because I still want to know what's happened." You know exactly what has happened, Scooby-Doo. You and Meghan hatched this publicity stunt plan, and it blew up in your faces much like all your plans do. They thought they were being so sneaky, so clever, nobody would ever know it was them behind it, but of course we know, it is so obvious. And I sure do hope the royal family does not take this lying down. It sounds like this could be the straw that has finally broken the camel's back. I mean, Meghan and Harry have launched so many grenades from their McMansion Montecito, and the royal family has not responded to anything. They have maintained their dignified silence, as they are wont to do. However, I think this time, the way they went after Princess Catherine, yeah, it's too much. Prince William is going to take a stand. He is not just going to put up with this. He loves her dearly. And also, Catherine is so good for the country and the monarchy. It is not right for them to just allow her to be so viciously attacked. Reportedly, Buckingham Palace officials will meet with aides to Prince William this week for critical talks on how to deal with the fallout from accusations of racism. The gathering of the two households will see them discuss all how to respond, with time and care to be taken before any decisions are made. That's according to a source who spoke with the Sunday Telegraph. And reportedly, all options are believed to be on the table, including legal action. Well, I sure hope that report is true, because it's about time that Meghan and Scooby-Doo, and even Harry for that matter, have to answer for all their crimes. At this point, it has gotten completely out of hand. They have done way too much, and they haven't faced any repercussions for their behavior. It's way past time for the three of them to be taken to task. Or if they don't want to go after Harry because maybe he didn't play such a big role in this, they at least need to go after Meghan and Scooby-Doo for all they are worth. Meanwhile, King Charles is just trying to focus on his work. He flew back to the UK after a few days at the COP28 Environment Summit in Dubai last week, and reportedly he is taking the whole furor surrounding the book very seriously. It has also been reported that throughout the week, Charles is going to talk about the situation with senior advisors, but at the same time, he's going to focus on his duties. Aides told the Mirror that it will be business as usual, with royals to be seen as rising above the row. According to a source close to the palace who spoke with the Sunday Telegraph, discussions have been had, and will continue those discussions this week, but not in a crisis talks manner. Decisions will be made with care and time and professionalism rather than rushed over a weekend. Meanwhile, according to the Mail, Buckingham Palace is doing some investigating of their own. They're wondering who could have seen the letters between the King and Meghan Markle, in which the names were supposedly mentioned. But Buckingham Palace is saying they are sure the leak did not come from within. They believe that only a tiny handful of people ever saw those letters. And Harry and Meghan, well, they're just not saying a thing about this whole scandal, which is very unusual for them. Usually, they are so excited to share any opinion, even when their opinions are completely irrelevant. And for once, we actually do want to hear their take on all this, but they're staying quiet. I wonder why that could be. Of course, Scooby-Doo has claimed that he's not friends with Meghan and Harry. He wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, "I'm not Meg's pal." But we know that's a big fat lie. I don't know about you all, but personally, I'm getting a little excited here because I suspect that Megan and Scooby-Doo are finally going to have to answer for their crimes, and boy, is that going to be a wonderful day. And you, what do you think about this news? Please let me know your opinion below in the comments section. If you enjoyed our video today, don't hesitate to like and share it with anybody else who would appreciate it too. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.